Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 39 of the Carrie Roldan Show, where we spend 30 minutes or so a week having conversations that matter to the entrepreneur's body, mind, and business. I'm your host, Carrie Roldan, and as many of you already know, I am a wife, a mother, a best-selling author, a personal growth junkie, and your total business BFF. And I help awakening entrepreneurs who resonate with the label of Truth Guide to connect with the resources that they need to succeed online without squeezing the magic of what they do into a formula or blueprint that just doesn't fit. So if this sounds like you, or you just really love the Carrie Roldan Show, I want to encourage you to do something new. You guys, I just created this and I'm really excited. So I have a new subscribe opt-in and I'm super excited about it. So if you want to stay in touch, if you want to not miss an episode, if you're my Google Plus friend, you've probably realized that you get super sporadic invites to my shows. If you don't want to miss anything, I encourage you to please follow the link below, which is www.carrieroldan.com/subscribe. And that way we won't lose each other. See, I'm finally getting it together, and I couldn't be more proud. And I'm sure that actually that getting it togetherness will come up in our topic for today. So as some of you know, I created the Carrie Roldan Show because I have stumbled, and I continue to, on my entrepreneurial journey, because the road to success thus far has been full of potholes, detours, and dead ends, not to mention self-doubt, fear, worry, debt, marital tension, and personal struggle. And I wanted to share what I continue to learn on my journey in the hopes that it will help you guys too. Because online entrepreneurhood can be a really lonely place. But I'm on a mission to help us connect to each other and to the resources we need to thrive in our businesses. Okay, so many of you are here today because it is the first Wednesday of the month, which means, woohoo, special series time. And it's a little bit bittersweet today because this is the last installment of the Entrepreneurial Journey to Wealthy through the Chakras with my favorite business BFF, Cindia Carrere. So I want to take a moment right now and share this screen, if I can. Sharing. Sorry guys, it appears my feed's just a little bit sluggish today, so bear with me. But I'm over here, and I'm making this bigger because here we are at the Entrepreneurial Journey to Wealthy through the Chakras with one of my all-time favorite business BFFs, Intuitive for Entrepreneurs, Cindia Carrere. And then I want to quickly go over what that Wealthy acronym is, and I'll give you a recap of just everything that's happening. So let me use my mouth properly here. The acronym for Wealthy stands for Women and Worth, Entrepreneur, Abundance, Love, Trust Your Gut, Health and Happiness, and yes, energy. However, we've been going through it from the bottom up, right? The way that we would go through the chakras, from the root heading up. So today, let me stop sharing my screen. Today we are at the 7th chakra, and that is our Crown Chakra. And I'm excited about this because this is in Cindia's acronym. This is the Women and Worth section. And it's sort of, if I would have known, right, on my entrepreneurial journey, I would have thought that's where I needed to start. And why I think I did need to start there. It's interesting, like this feels very full circle, and I'm really excited to keep talking about this. And sorry if I'm rambling, I'm about to check the comments and see who's saying hello. But let me just read to you what I have written because it'll probably help me feel a little bit more organized. So when we started this series, we knew, Cindia and I knew, that something amazing was going to come from it. We just weren't sure exactly what. But we followed the nudge from the universe, and we did it. We created it. And what has come from it, just on a personal note, has been super, like not what I expected, but super awesome. So that's really cool to know that we created it because we felt the nudge from the universe. We knew that it would help people. We knew that it would help other people. We knew it was really valuable information, but I had no idea that it was going to affect me and my business the way that it has. So I'll talk about that in just a minute. But here we are at the Crown Chakra, the seat of cosmic consciousness that connects us to divine intelligence and divine grace. Okay, so I think what I want to do is I'm going to introduce Cindia now, and then I want to give you guys a recap of, or sort of the intentions of what we had in mind when we started this series to give it some context as we move into the 7th chakra and kind of wrap things up. So Cindia, I'm putting your beautiful face on the screen. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello.
So I still have you on the screen, but before I jump right back into at least what I was thinking about when we started this series, do you want to say anything about what you were thinking about when we started this series?
I have thoughts about going all around, but I do want to just give kudos. When we came up with this idea 7 months ago, I have to just say good for you, Carrie, and even good for me that we've actually made it here every Wednesday at 10:30 at this time. When we projected this far out in the future, anything could have happened with school and vacations and children. And I wanted to say congratulations for following all the way through. I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And can you believe it, actually, that there were no, like it was set in stone. There were no needing to change it. There was, even over summer with the kids home, that is actually quite miraculous. So yay for us. And guys, those of you who are watching live on Crowdcast, I see that Monica is here saying hello. She says, favorite Wednesday of the month, and bittersweet that the series is coming to end. But don't you worry, Monica, because you know Cindy and I will be creating some, we can't help but create. So we'll be doing something new and equally amazing in the near future. Okay, let's give it some context, because I have a feeling there are people here who have, this is the first one that they're watching, right? They were enticed by the women and worth in the title, but they not necessarily getting a feel for the entire series. So I'm going to give you my take, and this is, if you've seen the video trailer for this series, it explains a lot of it, but it's that I've been paying attention from a marketing perspective and from a what works and what doesn't work in marketing, and just watching what's been happening in the world of online entrepreneurhood. And it's my belief that we are in this state of the what Cindia and I like to call, and Lisa Ingalls as well, the awakened entrepreneur, that so many people are awakening, right? They're awakening to a higher calling. They're awakening to start their businesses, not just because it is a way to earn money, but because they're recognizing that this is the work that they were put on this earth to do. And those people who feel that way about their businesses are, maybe they used to be a minority, but they are growing so massively. And Cindy and I are both those people, right? We are these awakened entrepreneurs. And what I'm finding is that it's not just entrepreneurs, and Cindia can probably explain this better, it's not just the entrepreneurs ourselves who are awakening and really wanting to move out into this world of business in a different energetic space than business has been done in the past, but that entrepreneurhood itself is on a journey. And this is Cindia's expertise, so I'm going to let her explain it. But what I want to say about it is that that's what we've been exploring in this series, is not just our own journey of entrepreneurhood, because that's interesting, but Cindia is an intuitive and gets divine downloads and has been receiving messaging that is very clear that it is all of the energy around entrepreneurhood is shifting. And so Cindia, I think this is a good place for me to shift it over to you, and maybe could you take us, add your wisdom and insight, but take us back through sort of what we've talked about through the chakras before we dive into the crown.
Okay, so energetically, money itself is making a shift. Money is rebranding itself. Money is branching out. It's leveraging. It's no longer satisfied to be made and created and kept in the lower chakras. And so we are on this journey to wealthy through the chakras, and money itself is working its way up into the heart. And our job is to, on some level, follow the money, which means following it to the heart. So our seat of power is rising, and it's also coming from the heart. And so I say that the heart is your most important business tool. So when we follow the money and we are coming from a heart space, I want to help redefine what wealthy is. Yes, wealthy is having plenty of money, but it's also having plenty of time and balance and self-worth and love and esteem, and being able to spend the time that you want with your family and doing the things that you want to do, and to be able to concentrate on your heart's work and providing service, knowing that your material needs will be met also. And so one of the paradigms that is shifting is that it used to be you could go toward wealth. You know, you could, the traditional definition, you could go towards money, or you could go towards service. And it used to be a really heart-rendering thing. Do I choose to get my needs met, or do I choose to be of service, which is also a form of a need? But now those two things are coming together, so that when we concentrate on our message and we do the work that we're passionate about and love, the money is there to support us. So it doesn't have to be an either or choice anymore. It's an and. And I have a lot more to say, but I'm going to pass the baton to you for a minute.
No, I think that is great. And as you were talking about money and, okay, I'm a little bit at a loss for words actually, because like so much is with me. But as you were talking about money and people having to make the choice between earning a lot of money or getting their monetary needs met versus being of service, I'm thinking about some of the professions where people are of great service, like teachers, social workers, etc., where the money hasn't caught up to the service. And I have lots of friends who are in both of those lines of work, and I definitely know that they feel that they feel that they had to make that choice between being of service and doing work that they felt was important to their soul and their life's purpose, and prospering in the way that so many of us want to prosper. So I think that that is just an interesting comment.
Well, I'll say something about that. I don't think it's quite caught up to it, but you know how the crest of a wave happens? Think about the music industry. You know, artists typically were getting about $1, even if they put all the work into the songs and everything. It was all the other music industry that was getting the money. And now people are like, I'm just going to sell my album for $1, right? And so people get music for $1, and musicians are still able to support themselves. And so I think people are becoming more and more thinking about different ways to do it. And I think education is going to change. And I think as the dollar is putting pressure and important things like arts and music and all that is being cut out of the budgets, I think that is going to create a completely different opportunity. And from that is going to spring other forms of education where a teacher may be able to leverage her information in such a completely different way. And so I don't think this is the end of the story. I think it's just the beginning.
I could not agree more, because that you said it much more eloquently than me. But yeah, that's sort of where I was going. And I don't want to digress too far, but that this is a conversation that I'm in sort of the marketing realm, is just that the technology that exists, technology is evolving so quickly that it's allowing people to evolve with entrepreneurship, right? To sell their music for $1 and make a lot of money, or to offer online classes, or there's just, like you're saying, all of it is evolving. And what I'm talking about with the social workers and the teachers is definitely some old paradigm stuff, right? What I'm feeling, what I know for sure, is that we are moving into this new energetic paradigm. And what we've been talking about in the series is sometimes there's a little discomfort that comes with that shift for all of us. And there's some stuff that we get stuck in our chakras. And so I think what I want to do, Cindy, is I want to ask you, because I feel like this would be helpful for me, to take me through each one of the chakras so that we can arrive at the crown and where we are. And so just take me through like what the root chakra is, what it represents to me in my business. Like quickly, if you can, quickly take us through each one so that we can arrive at the crown, and I think that will probably spark a beautiful conversation.
Okay, so we called it the Entrepreneurial Journey. And to clarify that, it's the journey to wholeness from soul to soul. So we're starting at the sole of our feet, from the ground that we stand on, all the way up to our soul. What Carrie and I were talking about before, she was talking about that the crown chakra is the portal for divine guidance. So we are going from soul to soul. So the first chakra is the root chakra, and that's where we get a lot of information about where we belong, if we belong. Some people don't get that message. It's about absorbing the beliefs about the people who raised us, about money and our foundation and our place in the world. So it's literally our foundation, and it's what we stand on. And then the second chakra, I called it health and happiness, but it's also where creativity and sexuality reside. And then it moves up, trust your gut, the third solar plexus. It's about your own relationship to yourself, your power base. And then we go up to the heart chakra, which things are shifting. The heart used to be something that we really, really needed to protect. And it was considered, like we were way too emotional if we made decisions with our hearts. And so now we're getting more in alignment. If our power base, which is right underneath it, is strong, and our heart, we don't have to be quite as protected because we're more open and love, and we're in alignment with our communication as it moves up. Women are finding a voice, as you just mentioned, the technology. We all have way, way, way more access to technology, ways to get our voice out, and then our intuition and the crown. What's happening is our emotions, things that have been stuck, memories, have been held in the chakra. But as we say yes to this journey, and it's about awakening, and that can look like a whisper from God, or a tap on the shoulder from your angels, or if you need a little more convincing, kind of a knock on the head. And we would like to avoid those if possible. So it's encouraging to start listening to the invitation and to start responding if you're being called to wake up. And so you say yes, even if you don't know what it looks like, and then that allows this yes energy to come in, and it pushes things up that need to come up and out to be healed. But it's not about staying in the wound any longer. It's not about trading on who had it worse and all of our bad memories and everything. We can just go, yep, that's happened. We acknowledge it. We feel into it, but we also release it and let it go, because we know, being in the power of now, that as the divine energy is flowing through us, we don't have to be bound and slaves anymore to all the bad stuff that happened in the past. So we are letting go a lot of the old stuff and bringing in the new.
Oh, it would help if I unmuted myself. It would help if I unmuted myself. Wow, that was beautifully done and really quickly. And I just want to give a shout out to Dave Moore, who says, man, we need more chakras. We've run out of chakras, which I love. But I just want to maybe so first of all, thank you for illuminating that. And I want to tell you what has happened on my journey is that saying yes, what I thought I was saying yes to, actually, it was the first little yes that has led to lots and lots and lots more yeses. But it helped me step into what you're talking about, that yes energy. Like when I decided to be an entrepreneur, I did not know that this is what it was going to look like. And I actually have no doubt that it's not going to look like this in another year or 2 years or 5 years. But when I said yes, it was taking that energetic step that was so important. And I didn't know when we started doing this that moving up through the chakras month by month was going to help me stir up what was in each of my chakras, but also, flesh out and move what I didn't need and really activate each of my chakras, where I can say at the end of these 7 months now, I have so much clarity and actually feel like, I'm no joke, you guys, I was awakened last night at 1:43 a.m. and just got like continued to get guidance and good feelings and was like feeling my heart opening. I'm getting like random messages for clients about changing the button color on their opt-in page. Like a lot of stuff feels like it is really flowing through this crown chakra now. So yeah, I think I'll stop there so that you're really good, Cindia, at taking my rambles and making and putting some structure and framework around them. So can you do that, please?
Well, you and I have had a lot more conversations than one a month. And the advantage of having me go with you on your entrepreneurial journey is that I can help every time that there's an issue or a question or something, it just gets cleared, like the ninja style clearing. And you are making so much room and space. And so as we started in the beginning, money is going into the heart chakra, but it has to make the journey. And so it has to go through the power center. It has to go through the heart. And it doesn't just get there automatically. For some people it does, and hallelujah and praise, it's great that if it does. But for a few other of us, it's a little bit struggle because it may be a little cluttered in there. We may have some pain and some grudges and some insecurities and stuff. And so, the yes energy is trying to clear that out and make room for the money, make room for the service, make room for the message. And so, Carrie, what I would say is that you've been letting go of old stuff left and right. And now as your heart space is ever increasing and you are making that connection, when you are awakened, literally and figuratively, that information can flow. You can hear it. You understand, oh, that's for that. It's not getting lost in the clutter. I mean, you were probably still getting it before. It's just that it got lost so much in the cacophony of other thoughts. But as you're clearing it out, the message comes in and you can hear it.
Oh, hello. We're slightly, like I said, we're slightly sluggish today. Yes, you're right, actually, Cindia. Now that you're saying that, this happened where I woke up last night feeling like I was literally getting divine guidance. And like I said, if you would have told me 6 months ago that divine guidance was going to awake me and remind me to tell a client to change a button color, I would have thought that was just my neurotic self, right? I would have thought that was just my stressed out self. I would have thought, and because I often in busy times in my business, I'll wake up in the middle of the night. And it doesn't feel like guidance. It feels like neurotic, stressed out, too much to do, not enough time. I have to get up in the middle of the night to do it. And this is sort of a sidebar, but what I'm feeling like is it's because we have been going through these chakras, and absolutely, yes, I have been working one-on-one with Cindia for quite some time, and I know those of you who've been watching the show know this, and those of you who've been following me, I hope that is like, I don't know, I hope it is this really like exciting, inspiring thing, because I'm feeling so good about where I am as a person and where I am in my business, and you can see I'm like freaking glowing over all of this like exciting movement through the chakra talk. And I know that I would not have been able to clear out that clutter if I hadn't been working with Cindia. So before I even move on, because I want to take some time, Cindia, to talk specifically about the crown chakra and what we can do as entrepreneurs to get into that space, right? Get into that space where we feel like we have, I keep doing this, so like a halo, but where we have that divine connection, where we feel like we are a portal for divine, or at least the top of our head, right? We're a channel for divine inspiration, and it can come through us. I think that's what so many of us awakened entrepreneurs got a glimpse of when we said yes. And then it's when we say yes, so many of us then, like you said, are faced with our own clutter, and we get all confused. So before I turn it over to Cindia, I just want to point out that above us, if you're watching on Crowdcast, there's a new feature on Crowdcast where I can put a call to action. So I put a link to Cindia's 10-day wealth infusion for total life abundance. If you've already gotten her activation statements, it is the same stuff in the different packaging, but you have to click on it to see the new packaging, because It is glorious. Cindia's been going through some rebranding, and it's amazing. So check it out, regardless of whether or not you've already downloaded. And even if you've already downloaded, what I find is sometimes I just have to do it again to get the information fresh. I've cataloged it away somewhere, and I need to get it fresh. And actually, Cindia, you can talk about that because I know the delivery method is slightly different. So I just gave you a whole lot of things to cover, but quickly, the 10-day wealth infusion for total life abundance, talk about that and how it's the new delivery method. And then I really want to spend some time on this on the 7th chakra and our businesses.
Well, thank you. And so the information is in a way the same. The first one was a PDF that had the 10 high frequency clearing statements. This one is a 10-day wealth infusion where we have recorded them. And so you can read them, you can hear them, and each one has a much more in-depth explanation. And when I say in-depth, and we're not going to pile you under reams of paper, but instead of just the phrase, it has instruction and it has a really mindful about each one. And so it's an expanded version. And so it's fun. So go ahead and click on that if you want. And thank you, Carrie, for that.
And I'm going to interrupt you actually and just say, if you've already downloaded it, download it again just to get the audio, because I know I have trouble sometimes when I'm just in my own voice, and it's really helpful to have Cindia's voice. So, all right, now Cindia, go. Crown Chakra.
Okay. Crown Chakra. There's so much in this one. What I'm finding that people are expressing to me is when they get the tap or the knock or the whisper, there's a little bit of that disbelief. And I think if we read historically, when there were prophets and messengers, when God spoke to them, there was that moment of like, whoa, I don't even know who you're talking to, and what you're asking me is too much. And I think there's a lot of feeling when messengers start to get their own message, they feel like it is so big. And when they get a glimpse of the vision of the future that could be for them, they sometimes quickly shut it down because it seems so improbable, so unlikely. Who are they to be spreading that size of a message? And some people do have success overnight, and it would be shocking. But I want to say, just like, a little kid starting school, you get fed the information and the growth opportunities one after the other so that you expand and grow into your message at the rate that you're comfortable with. So Spirit is ready for you right now, but it's just waiting for you to catch up with it. And so if you have been given a message, if you've been given a glimpse of your future, if you have some inkling that you have something important, but you're disregarding it, just know that that's kind of normal for this situation. So I'm just going to pause there for a second if you want to add something to that, Carrie.
So, hey, take yourself off mute again, Carrie. Yeah, so I actually want to check in with the conversation on Crowdcast and let you know what's being talked about and give you a chance to comment on that. Because, so first, back into that yes energy, Monica says, when I made the choice to say yes to letting go of all of the things, or at least being willing to try, the other yeses became so much easier. And I know that's exactly what you're talking about, Cindia, with the, I'm at a loss for words, right? The expansion that happens, or the, yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. And then Dave has a question, and I want to say Lisa Ingalls has dropped in to catch the tail end. So hi, Lisa. Always good to have you here. But Dave has got a question, and I am a little embarrassed to read it because I don't know how to pronounce one of the words. So here we go. It says, do you think that the Sahara, I don't know how to say this word, so you can tell I am not very deep into my chakra knowledge, is the selfless realization that everything is connected, be it personal or business or at a fundamental level? And I think that is a really important thing to talk about, because that is sort of right, that, yeah, I just think that's a really important thing to talk about. And Cindy, I know you're going to be much more articulate and eloquent about discussing it.
Well, I appreciate your faith in me, but I wish I could actually read the question. I can't see it. So I don't know if you want to read it to me one more time so I can catch it, but I'm not able to read it. So,
well, let's just talk about this, because what I want to talk about is just the all things being connected, because what has happened for me, right, is this entrepreneurial journey has been so much more than entrepreneurial. And you've said it on my show in the past that when you say yes to your business, you don't necessarily know that you're about to go on a spiritual journey, right? That your business is your spiritual practice. And what I found in these past 7 months and working through giving a little attention to each of the chakras that particular month is that the shifts are not just happening in my business, they're happening in my whole life, in every aspect of it. And I know you have lots of wisdom on that. So that's what I'm asking you to comment on.
Well, absolutely, everything is connected, and you shift one little thing over here and it's the butterfly effect. It ripples over here. So everyone is connected. That's what I'm talking about when I discuss the energy grid. We each have our own energy grid that interconnects with each other's. The one on the planet has an energy grid. It's the path with the energetic pathways. And so, yes, everything is connected. And yet, we are not all the same. We are individualized, localized parcels of information that the divine expresses itself through us. If we were all exactly the same, there would be no purpose for us to be individual. The planet would look exactly the same. And every human, there'd be like 3 humans, right? So we all have a different perspective because divine wants to flow through us and experience everything in every way. So it is connected, it is all the same, and it's all a little different. And we come together to share our perspective, to say, okay, this is how I see it, this is how you see it, this is how we're experiencing it. And then together we're creating the change, or we're being the change that we want to see in the world.
Ooh, I like the way you said that. Okay, you guys, here is the deal. We're going a little long because on the first Wednesday of the month, every month we go a little long because this conversation is in depth. This conversation is really multifaceted, right? It's when Cindy and I started the conversation, we were talking about this idea that the energy of entrepreneurship itself is changing and what that means for us as business owners. And here's what has happened for me in the past 7 months going through this is that I thought I was awakened when I started. And I have been in a process of continual awakening. But when we arrived at the Crown Chakra, so the past week, maybe Cindia, you can, it's been longer than a week, where I've been desperately wanting more structure in my business, more support. Like I've been getting this image of scaffolding. I have been wanting more systems and processes, and I know, Lisa, you could just sort of like smiling big at hearing this in my business. And I've known this, and I've wanted this, and I've struggled with this for a long, long time. And it is when we have reached the Crown Chakra that I suddenly am like actualizing that structure, that it is finally able to come into my business. And I'm wondering, just from a purely selfish standpoint, Cindia, if there's something to that, if there's something to the structure and the Crown Chakra being together, or if it's just more about my readiness for it.
Well, you told me something interesting the other day, that you caught a glimpse and you're starting to see, and we've been working together and we've been helping to reweave your energy grid. And so some of the places that were missing, we've been bringing in that and repairing, and the blockages, we've been removing those. And so when you started to get the image of scaffolding, that's a lot what the energy grid is. It's the bones and structures of our energetic system. And the fact that you have scaffolding there, it's now you can see scaffolding is both vertical and horizontal. And so you are energetically receiving the infrastructure that you've been missing, lacking. And now, because you have the energetics in place, it's creating the desire for you to follow through and put it into physical place. So that's a combination. And I also wanted to say, there are not hard, fast rules. So, if I'm going to say something, people give me 10 exceptions. But the chakras open, we covered this last time a little bit, but the chakras open at its own time. They don't just open all at once. That causes a shock to the system. And we did touch on when a chakra opens too early or too late, it does create an out of balance. And so as people, something to look forward to, so if you are approaching 50, there's some good news, is that the crown chakra really starts to blossom and open. And so the wisdom, there's a reason why they say with, age comes wisdom. It's because people have lived long enough and survived, but also because the crown chakra, all these chakras have been opened, and the intuition, the third eye is opened, and now that paves the way, the scaffolding for the information to come through, because now as that information and energy comes through, it has somewhere to go, it has somewhere to land.
Stuff, Cindia, I don't know if you heard me because my computer's sluggish, so I need to say, ooh, yes. Oh, that is good stuff. And that actually makes a ton of sense to me. I hope it's making sense to you guys. I do have to start wrapping up here because I got to go pick up my 11-year-old from her middle school orientation day. It is a big day for Quinn Roldan, so just shout out to that, I guess. But before we go, I want to make sure that I acknowledge what's happening. Lisa and Dave are in a really great conversation. So if you're watching this on replay, scroll up and see what is happening. But I just want to read their comments because they're so good. So Dave, first of all, Dave gives us kudos. He says he's really enjoyed this series over the past 7 months. Thank you, Dave. And then I want to say what Lisa said, because she is a total, if you don't know Lisa Ingalls, you need to find her, circle her, look her up. She's awesome, amazing. She has been another one of my coaches along the journey, but she says waking up isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing journey, and we're continually evolving, which is something I think we all know, but we forget regularly. So thank you, Lisa, for that. And then Lisa and Dave continue to talk, but I just want to say to you, Cindia, thank you so much. Thank you for your willingness to just journey with me, your willingness to come show up here once a month and talk about whatever the heck I feel like talking about when it has to do with the chakras. And just really sharing your wisdom and your guidance and your expertise. And what I thought we could do in the last couple minutes is talk about you, because we haven't done this since the very first show. And you've just sort of mentioned, right, that I help you with your grid and I help you with your energy. And Lisa, you're late, so I want to make sure that you noticed that above our heads on the Crowdcast link, there is Cindia's 10-day wealth infusion for abundance, for total life abundance. You've talked about that, but I just read your brand new website homepage, and I read the word gridlock, and it just really, really stuck with me. I thought, I'm sure you can talk about just the wordplay, the deliciousness of that wordplay. But to talk about you and your journey and how just the download, how you came to say yes. Like, if you could give me the 2-minute version of that, I think that would be a beautiful closing to this series, to go back to the very beginning of where all of this information started.
Oh, thank you, Carrie. And I do want to make a comment, and it's funny that Dave and Lisa were talking about it, because when you said awakened, and I wanted to raise my hand and say, it's a continual process, so they beat me to the punch. I often use the word awakening because I think it's an ongoing process. We get to one level, we have new information, we have new consciousness, and we go about utilizing it and integrating it. And then we have more information and more information. And that is just like continual. And so I do ask forgiveness if anybody thought that I just meant there was just one. So that's not in any way what I was trying to say. And I completely agree. And it's an ongoing process. So I have been an entrepreneur since I was out of college, even when I was in college, and I've never had just like a regular job. Jewelry, design, everything for 22 years. And then one day I received a download, and it was amazing. I was eating breakfast. So it wasn't anything that I set time aside for that day and said, okay, now I'm going to have a life-altering download. I was literally eating breakfast, and kaboom, within a half an hour, it was like I was a computer that a new program was installed, and that was a huge awakening. I saw facts, figures, equation, images, things that were coming at me for about 30 minutes that just downloaded. And when it was done, I had a capability and gifts that I did not possess before. And I have been so appreciative and so grateful. And so I, in turn, use it to help people who are ready to, I kind of laugh and tease, you know, like ninja style, I've already said that, ninja style clearing, but to help people who are awakening, to help them get over the insecurities and the who me's and the worth. We didn't really get to talk about the women in worth, about all the not enoughness that people go through, and perfectionism, that I have to be perfect in order to be loved, and entrepreneurs feeling their true value. And it's about, if we all just recognize that we are all beautiful, we're all spirits, we're all in the light, and we could just move on, that would be so much more helpful, would help unblock the gridlock. So gridlock is when the energy gets jammed up and it doesn't have anywhere to go. Just like you live in LA, so you understand when the freeways are all jammed up and you can sit there forever. Our energy can do that. It can get into a gridlock until something is changed and shifted. And then when the energy can actually move, things start happening.
So, Cindia, thank you so much for clarifying that. And I just want to point out that Cindia's company is called Heal Your Grid. And her download, like the very first thing, since this like portal, right, the Crown Chakra has opened up and she has received this download, which, Cindia, is it okay to tell the time in your life, the age you were when that happened? Okay, she says sure. So because she was just talking about when you hit age 50, what happens? Well, Cindia was just past her 50th birthday when that happened, which was a massive life-changing event, but she was able to perceive energy grids. And I was lucky enough to be one of the first people who was willing to play with that, who was willing to say, sure, you can go ahead, hop on into my energy grid, tell me what you see. And ever since, we've been removing gridlock, and it has been an amazing ride. So if this sounds appealing to you, if you are ready to remove some of the gridlock, if you're not sure what your blocks are, if you've done, like for me, I had done a lot of this type of work, releasing negative beliefs and I'd done a lot of other things, and I was blind to some big blockages. And I don't know, I can't say that I would never have uncovered what I have, but I do feel like it's been a much faster path to removing the blockages, getting really clear, and finally, hallelujah, getting the structure into my business that I need. And not just the structure, the clarity, right, in my business that I had been just really seeking for a long time. So I know I'm turning into a commercial for Cindia. I cannot help myself. So the place to start, if you know you're ready to start a conversation with Cindia, is get that 10-day wealth infusion for total life abundance. She's already told you how it's going to work, but you're going to get daily goodness from Cindia for 10 days that will, like I said, it's a really good starting point. So on that note, I have 2 minutes before I have to leave the house to pick up my lovely 11-year-old. So Cindia, I'm going to give you your final statement, your closing word.
Well, I just want to thank you for that. I didn't know you were going to say any of that, so I appreciate it. And I just want to thank you for inviting me to do this. I've loved this experience, and I want to thank everybody who has joined in and watched, who's here now and who will be on the replay. And I just really hope that you can feel our hearts, and we feel yours, and the world needs your message. And I'm going to close with this quote. I love that. It says, you are worthy, and your audience is longing for the exact thing you've been wanting to say. So quote yourself. And that is by Karen Gunton. And I just thought that was a lovely thing to say at the end, for her to say that.
Oh, so perfect, especially since we didn't hit women in worth the way that I had intended to and you had intended to when we started, but that's how this show sometimes rolls. So maybe that's an invitation for us, Cindia, to maybe this is the invitation to not just do an episode on it, but to do a series on it. We'll have to think on that. So you guys, thank you for being here. Dave, Monica, Lisa, and the rest of you. I see there are more of you here live that just aren't commenting. Thank you so much for being here live, for enjoying this conversation with us. If you haven't, I'll do this. I'll post a link to the entire series. I have a playlist on YouTube. So if you do this, if you go to carrieroldan.com/subscribe, you will be sure to not miss a beat of the Carrie Roldan Show. But I'll be sure to send out not only the replay of this show, but a link to all of the previous shows. So if you've missed one of our shows in this 7-part series, the Entrepreneurial Journey to Wealthy through the Chakras, with one of my favorite business BFFs, Cindia Carrere, you can catch them all and take yourself through the 7 chakras. So guys, thanks so much for being here, and thank you to my loyal subscribers. I do want to let you know that moving forward from this day onward, you'll be finding the Carrie Roldan Show not at 10:30 a.m. on Wednesdays, but Tuesdays. So again, carrieroldan.com/subscribe. I'll let you know when they're happening so that you don't miss one. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. Here's a great big virtual hug from me, and I will see you all next week. Talk to you later.